2030, the smartphone as we know it today, many of these things will be built directly into our bodies.
Until the one time, it was like 40 days into it, I decided, yep, I don't want humans anymore.
Yeah. I was sleeping, had to wake up. Why? Every reason I can think of.
What's up, YouTube? Today, we'll be looking at disturbing TikToks that don't make you question reality. So without further ado, welcome to Adam Strain Reacts. Let's get her done.
You heard of The Sopranos?
Yeah.
One of the craziest theories ever about The Sopranos was the very end of the show. Because what happened, Tony Soprano walks into a diner, opens a door, walks in, and he just stares. And he looks straight. The next scene you see is him sitting in the diner, just ordering food and his family coming through. And eventually, while he's eating with his family, the screen just goes black. And it goes black for like 10 seconds. And then the show ends. Everybody's so confused, like, what happened there?
Yeah, why did he follow his family after?
No, what it was trying to show is that he just died. Like he got
From who?
and then the 10 seconds was just like the black saying he died. Now, the theory is though that when it goes black and when in the beginning he opens the door and just stares, what he's staring at, he's looking at himself getting in front of his family. So it's a constant loop that he's actually in hell.
What the?
That's his hell.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, our line of work, it's always out there. You probably don't even hear it when it happens, right?
There's your friend in there, on the wall.
Listen to us.
No risk, no reward.
You know Beyblades? They were actually a real thing in early Japanese history.
Wait, what?
Beyblades, you know, like let it rip.
Wait, but people would actually
Early century Japan, fam.
Whoa.
What they used to do,
With
they
rocks?
used to, no, not rocks. Buy battle. It's called a buy battle.
Yeah.
They would take shells that they found in the sea and they would stuff them with sweet cakes, like pastries that they cooked. And then they would have a tatami mat, you know, those like bamboo mats. And they would take turns tying a string, spinning it, and it would spin on the mat.
Yeah.
And another person go,
Oh, shit.
and whoever's shell fell off the mat would lose.
Oh, that's kind of
It's deadass Beyblade originally. Yeah.
Yo, that's crazy because it's like everything's custom, right? So everyone had a different Beyblade. Imagine you had a sick shell like with polka dots, fam.
Yo.
Oh, your Beyblade was sick.
This is fractal math.
Isn't that crazy? Sometimes the things that we think that are new innovations or whatever, they come from ancient times. I had no idea about that. I wonder if it's the same thing for the pogs. I don't know if you guys had pogs or like those little circles that you try to flip over, and the ones you flip over you keep. Let me know down below if you guys know about the pogs. Pog squad. Let's keep on rocking.
Math you're flying through, made from this program that's creating some shapes that should look pretty familiar. I thought it was pretty weird when I found out there's math in nature, but there's something even weirder. These patterns are infinite, and eventually the geometries will produce the same patterns that we have incorporated in our most impressive architecture. There's a geometric connection to inspiration through expanded states of awareness or higher consciousness. Ancient architects had a high-resolution connection to this inspiration, but what does that mean? Pattern is expressed in geometry, converted into math, and then translated into art and architecture. There's no better engineer than nature, and we knew that, and then we copied it. If you walk into a Hindu temple and you look up, you'll see the same fractal architecture that is used in the particle collider. If you look at the columns, you'll see fractal geometry that's so precise, the only comparison we have is a biological motor at molecular scale. Higher consciousness is order. It must be brought down from high to earth, and something incredible happens when you do that to a human mind. As a fractal itself, it comes up from nature. As it recognizes more patterns, it expands, it rises. To transcend means to end the trance of a lower form of consciousness. Some civilizations were obsessed with this. Each time we do this, we get new software, higher resolution, better graphics. The brain is a biological antenna. The closer you get to the geometry of higher consciousness, the more your little mind resonates with the big mind. Big mind splits into little minds using filters as the senses. Our fractal friends and family experience one freeze frame of this simulation with us, and we get to experience this together. There is nothing cooler.
So let me see if I got this straight. You're trying to tell me that in the 12th century, they was building skyscrapers? Oh, you son of a ballbag. So right now in Italy, there's only 2 towers left. And if these towers wasn't here, I wouldn't believe. When you look at old maps of Bologna, it looks like a whole city of skyscrapers. But if you look closely, it looks like it's got a dome. Just look at the top. And look at the edge. It looks like that whole city was under a dome. So much of our history has been erased and whitewashed. But the day is coming when everyone will know the truth. You Ethiopian Orthodox Jew. Ain't nobody do it like you. Just to get to church, you've got to climb 8,000 feet. It doesn't matter if you can't climb. It's prayer time. So the mainstream narrative says that this church has been made from a cave out of a mountain. But your eyes are useless when your mind is blind. What you're looking at, somebody got smoked. Maybe at one point, this was ground level. But when you look inside, what do you see? The apostles, afros and everything better. So for the people that don't know anything about the Ethiopian Orthodox Jews, I'd advise you to find out more. Because as you know, our people are destroyed for lack of knowledge.
It doesn't matter if you have a phone or not. The elite know exactly where and what you are doing.
Remember, kids, the next time that somebody tells you the government wouldn't do that.
They would.
Oh, yes, they would.
They know where we're at all times. Remember, they want complete control over everyone and everything, and they will stop at nothing to complete their mission. As always, let me know what you think in the comments. Stay weird.
Tea. I bet you thought I was drinking tea, but this glass is empty. You see that? There was no tea in there. And this isn't my hand. These are my hands. That's not real at all. You see, you're being lied to. You're being lied to. I bet you thought this was me, but no, this is just a reflection. This was all taking place on a mirror. It was all a mirror. It was all a lie. And I bet you thought I was wearing pants. I'm not wearing pants. And this isn't even my voice. I dubbed this over in post-production, and you're being lied to. This is all taking place on a screen, and you are being lied to. You're being lied to.
It will, first of all, it will definitely...
Like that. Will Smith has one like that too, where it's like the background changes and everything changes. It just makes you realize, like, that we take so many things for granted and we assume the context or the place, or that it's very interesting to see how easy it is to manipulate someone's, perception. Very interesting. Had you guys ever seen that video? Have you guys seen anything like that, or the Will Smith one? Let me know down below. Let's keep on rocking.
It will, first of all, it will definitely happen. I was talking about 6G earlier, which is around 2030. I would say that by then, definitely the smartphone as we know it today will not anymore be the usual kind of the most common interface. Wow. Many of these things will be built directly into our bodies. It will, first of all, it will definitely happen. I was talking about 6G earlier, which is around 2030. I would say that by then, definitely the smartphone as we know it today will not anymore be the usual kind of the most common interface. Wow. Many of these things will be built directly into our bodies.
1960, this is what...
It's kind of scary to see how confident he was about his prediction. Normally, I would say there's no way. But really, in the past 6 months, ever since, to be honest, I feel like ever since the AI video generation came out, it's sort of like a D-Day, like a before and after. Ever since then, I feel like everything is just ramped up. The flooding of the content, the polarization, the animosity, the echo chambering. I find everything is at the maximum level. So you know what? I do believe that within a very short amount of time, like 5 years, I wouldn't even be surprised that people are lining up to get that. Me personally, I will die organic, but I mean, to each his own. Are you guys going to line up for it? Do you guys want to merge with it? Do you guys want the advantage of merging with it, no matter what the consequences or the risk might be? Let me know down below, and let's keep on rocking.
A homemaker might have worn while shopping at the supermarket. For $50, her shopping cart included rib roast of beef, hamburger, pork chops, bacon, chicken, tuna fish, a ham, a turkey, all kinds of fruits and vegetables, including 1 head of lettuce, 2 loaves of bread, and 5 pounds of coffee. In 1960, you could get a house that looked like this one for about $17,000. You might also have had a top-of-the-line Ford Thunderbird like the one in this old TV commercial for $3,700. Things changed by 1970. Remember the miniskirt. The shopping cart did not include any bacon, any ham, or a few other items, but it still had 1 head of lettuce, 2 loaves of bread, and 5 pounds of coffee. For $17,000 in 1970, you could buy about 3/4 of this new house, and the $3,700 car would not be top of the line. By 1980, the change has been dramatic and traumatic. The shopping cart is a different type and has less and less. No sirloin steak, no rib roast, no pork chops, no bacon, no chicken, no ham, no turkey, and fewer staple items. Although there is 1 head of lettuce, 2 loaves of bread, and 5 pounds of coffee. This year, your $17,000 will buy only 1/4 of that house, and this year, your $3,700 will pay for only one of the least expensive cars. By 1990, this may be what you'll be wearing, but it is certain that if inflation continues at about 10% a year, that for $50, you will carry from the grocery store only 1 head of lettuce, 2 loaves of bread, and 5 pounds of coffee. Your $17,000 for a home will buy only a small fraction of just 1 room. If you could afford the entire house, it would cost about $250,000. And if inflation continues, the money you could have bought a Thunderbird for in 1960 will buy you this motorcycle.
This is where it gets really freaky. Albert Einstein.
It's funny as much as it's sad. I mean, to see it visually explained like that throughout the years with the same items and with the same things is very interesting because it gives us a bit more perspective as to what inflation is and how the power of the dollar has decreased. But man, isn't that crazy how $17,000 would have bought you a house? $3,000 would have bought you a car. I know that I get it, but even at that, the numbers are not mathing. Like the math is not mathing. In my opinion. What do you guys think about inflation? Do you guys find it crazy, the fact that things seem to be way more accessible back then, and that basically the percentage at which it has increased is out of control? And that's even without speaking about the last 3 to 4 years that it's doubled. So imagine, what he was talking about the 90s, now we're 30 years later. I think we're seeing the effects of that. Let me know if you agree down below, what you think, and let's keep on rocking.
It says, I'm not sure which weapons the Third World War will be fought, but the Fourth World War, they will fight with sticks and stones.
Yeah, I've heard that.
That's what Albert Einstein said. Day 1 of AI taking over. And it showed this laboratory towards this very highly advanced artificial intelligence, but it was contained to its own server. AI figured out with a Roomba vacuum that's the only thing it could figure out how to connect to. So it put all of its information onto the Roomba computer, and then that allowed it to connect to the Wi-Fi, which allowed it to connect to everyone's phones, everyone's laptops, spread instantly across the whole world. Now it was in control of power plants, all this stuff.
Geez.
It was in control of 3D printers, of manufacturing things to help build itself.
Yeah.
But it was doing it silently with no one knowing because it was just staying under the radar until the one time it was 40 days into it, it decided, yep, I don't want humans anymore.
These are celebrities that have died twice. First up, Nelson Mandela. So there are millions of people who believe that Nelson Mandela died in the 1980s.
I'm one of those people.
The thing is, he did not die until 2013.
What?
But there are people who will argue you up and down the wall that Nelson Mandela died in the 1980s. The second one is Eddie Murphy.
What?
So there are millions and millions of people all over the world who specifically remember Eddie Murphy died in 2013 in a snowboarding accident. And the final one is Michael Jackson. So there's no specific date with this one. Hundreds of millions of people for this one believe that Michael Jackson died somewhere in the early 2000s, maybe late 90s, and they remember it playing out exactly how it did when he actually died. So for them, it feels like they relived Michael Jackson's death
two
twice.
times. Oh my God.
It is the craziest thing ever.
I wonder what that is then.
Did you see the video of Elon Musk's kid?
No.
I've heard about more convincing what do they call them? Mandela effects. But no, those three for me, not at all. Do you guys remember a secondary death for any one of those? Me personally, not at all. Let me know down below if you remember any one of those, and let's keep on rocking.
So his kid on a mic, I forgot if he was on an interview or even just something for TV. Elon Musk put his kid up and he's like, oh, this is my mini-me. His kid accidentally said Elon Musk's plan out loud into the mic.
Okay, mini-me here.
It certainly is.
Mini-me, you complete me.
I started this
You're getting, you have the general vibe.
before in
You got the
space acts and quietly just do whatever we want.
What does that mean though? They want to implement like space tax because that's not even a thing yet. And then slowly do anything they want. It can be able to build its next body. How did you learn that shit? First off, what is he playing? What is he watching, bro?
No, there's something too, because I seen another video where it's like it said like the government may be hiding underground, right? And there was a guy who had his phone and he was in a random field, but he heard like noises in the field. And once he got closer, it's like you can hear certain shit. So I'm like, yo, he's like, no, it's right here.
It's the giant steps in Peru.
You have got to be kidding me. Probably already know that this isn't a giant staircase. There still seems to be some confusion on it, so let me just drive it into the ground one last time. This is Ollanta Tambo. It is an Incan terrace farm. Milo, it looks like stairs. All right, riddle me this. If this was a staircase built for giants, why is there a human-sized staircase in the middle of it and another human-sized staircase on the side of it? No, maybe they had human pets, a little pet on a guy on a string that really looks like a giant could live in it. Oh yeah, and this doorway too. It's like 5.5 feet tall. Let's use some context clues. What's that over there? Is that a terrace farm? Of course that's not a terrace farm. That was a staircase for baby giant. You ready for this? This is my favorite part. There is an entire valley right here. Where were they going? Why would you feel the need to build gigantic steps up this hill and into these tiny ass houses? Hey, look at that. There's no stairs down the other side of the mountain. And this is what your giant stairs are made out of. Can you imagine a giant picking this up? Guys, we're gonna make a staircase so I can get over this hill. Giant conspiracy truly makes me believe that the human race is a lost cause. Remember this guy? Well, what he looks like now will shock you. Oh my God, Jesus. Well, there's just been some new research that has solved one of Otzi's greatest mysteries. You probably know that he's a 5,300-year-old ice mummy. You probably also know that he's got the world's oldest tattoos, 61 of them mostly around his legs and lower back. Now, since their discovery, there's kind of just been one theory for how they were created. A cut with some kind of blade and then a rub of charcoal. But we now have evidence that these tattoos are a lot more sophisticated. So two of the leading experts in tattoo archaeology, Danny Ridday and Aaron Dieter Wolf, decided to test this. How else other than by tattooing the hell out of Danny's leg? Each one of these patterns was done with a different method. Healed product could be compared to ancient tattoos to help determine how they were made. Danny's incised tattoos are perfectly straight with tapered ends, while Otzi's are wavy and blotchy, proving Otzi's tattoos were much more likely done with a stick and poke needle. Ancient tattoos were more sophisticated than we give them credit for. Otzi's only the tip of the iceberg. If you want to see how deep the rabbit hole goes, you should come check out my new video on the bizarre world of mummy tattoos. YouTube Mini Minute Man. Do you have any idea what this is? No shade if you don't. Honestly, it's a little hard to tell what you're even supposed to be looking at here. So let me give you a little hint. This bizarre image was captured in 1964 by this here vessel called the USNS Eltonin. It's an image of the seafloor off the coast of Antarctica at a depth of almost 13,000 feet, or about 4,000 meters. That is really deep, which makes what this image shows so bizarre. That is, of course, this thing. What is it doing? Why is it there? What's going on? This anomaly was dubbed the Eltonin object or the Eltonin antenna because of its shape, and speculation for its origin ran absolutely wild. Many people, including this guy, settled on the most obvious conclusion, which is that it's an extraterrestrial artifact. But what is it actually? Turns out, it's one of these. A ping pong sponge. It's a carnivorous sponge, and it lives in the deep ocean. It looks like this. Shows that something painfully mundane can be interpreted as spectacular if you have a bad enough image of it. If you like weird stuff like this, check out my other videos and sauce me a follow so you don't miss them. You ever wondered what the...
I put a few of these because I find them pretty interesting. But isn't that crazy how You could have all these conspiracies or whatever. It's a UFO, it's this, it's that. And at the end of the day, it was a fish at at the bottom of the ocean. Because especially it was near Antarctica, you know, a lot of conspiracies about Antarctica. Very interesting. Also, the one about the steps, I love it. Because a lot of people like to jump to conclusion and assume a lot of things. But when you really look at it, it doesn't really make sense that they would be steps. I just find it's funny. It makes sense. Let me know if you like that type of content down below. I'm going to try to include a bit of debunking with a bit of open-mindedness, but a bit of debunking as well, so we could try to keep our heads screwed on straight, right? So let's keep on rocking.
Follow so you don't miss them. You ever wondered what the oldest animal is that we've ever discovered? Well, if you haven't, you're definitely wondering it now, so let's talk about it. Maybe it's an elephant. They live for a long time, right? Or maybe it's a whale. Those also live for a long time. Nope, not an elephant or a whale. It's something much, much more exciting. Are you ready for this? Behold, the oldest animal ever discovered. This clam, whose name is Ming. Ming was dredged up by researchers off the coast of Iceland in 2006. Now, when they first found him, they just thought Ming was a clam. You know, he hadn't made an introduction yet. They brought Ming and a bunch of his buddies back to their lab for study. One of their data points was looking at how old the clams were, which you can actually do fairly easily. The clam shells are deposited in layers like tree rings. So if you count the layers, you can figure out how old the clam is. Fortunately, you can't do this while the clam's alive, so they had to freeze all of them. And it was only after that that they sampled Ming and learned that it was 507 years old. It'd be really cool to make a discovery like this, but it would also come with the realization that you just killed the oldest single individual animal on the planet. Rip Ming, 1499 to 2006. You traded your shells for wings.
See, my phone is actually on my lap, and you know, I know I've been teased about this, but I like these kinds of ear pods that have the thing, because I've served on the Senate Intelligence Committee. I have been in classified briefings, and I'm telling you, like, don't be on the train using your ear pods and thinking somebody can't listen to your conversation. I'm just telling you, that's a little bit more secure.
So, you roll those 100 calls.
Yeah.
You roll those 100 calls in just a couple of, President Biden says he's stepping out of the campaign.
I had heard about the claim that there was radioactivity coming out of the phones, but also the AirPods. But I'd never heard about that you could intercept the conversations of people at a short distance. Ooh. She finds that pretty funny. I don't find that so funny. Anyways, I don't use AirPods, so I'm safe, but watch out out there.
Now imagine seeing this photo and still denying the existence of God, thinking that everything that you see just came from a big bang, order from chaos for the first time in scientific history. I mean, let's just think here. These are our lungs. This is a tree. The exact same structures. Not only that, but what we exhale, carbon dioxide, the tree breathes in, it uses, and then the tree produces oxygen, which we breathe in. That is the definition of genius, divine intelligence, and creation. There is no other way around it. The atheists sure don't realize that everything in nature is designed with a very specific mathematical code, including our DNA, structures in our faces, our ears, all these things. Specific mathematical code, the Fibonacci sequence, the golden ratio, the fingerprint of the creator. Like, imagine seeing all of this and knowing that, wow, all of nature and ourselves possess this very specific mathematical code, and still think that all of this came from a big bang, order from chaos. Once again, like, have you ever seen an explosion happen and then there's perfection after that explosion? It doesn't happen. This is an intelligent creation, and they hide God because they don't want you to have a connection with the creator itself, which, by the way, is not what they tell you in religion. God is within us, meaning we are all God. It's the law of mentalism. We're inside the mind of the all. The all is the one and the one is the all. We are quite literally here to figure out who we truly are. That happens through inner work and to establish a deep connection with the creator, which happens through, again, inner work. And if you wish to tap into this power and experience the creator for itself and live a life of freedom and abundance and literally create whatever you want, then comment the word elevate. I will send you over a free training. You just got to fill out a little form and I'll send it over for you guys. Much love and peace to you all. Peace.
What do you guys think about that? Now, I know that he's associating the fact that there's a pattern of creation and of expression in nature to the fact that there would be, like you said, the fingerprint of God, meaning that there has to be like someone organizing it type of thing. But let's say, without the question of religion or of God, what do you guys think about that? The fact that there seems to be laws on how things appear, on how things grow, on how they unfurl, let's say. Do you guys think that means something? Do you think that it's just basically physics? Because what he's talking about, like, let's say the pine cone, right? Or if you look at the sunflower, or if you look at all these patterns, but when you break down that pattern into numbers, and you have the 1, 1, 2, 3, 5, basically, when you put it into that logical order, that also becomes the order of duplication in a colony of bees, for an example. So it's not just the swirly pattern, it's also numbers wise. So I find it super interesting. For me, it just makes me see that there's an order to this world. And the fact that there's an order doesn't make me feel less important. It actually gives me a baseline to follow. Sort of like earlier in the video, they were trying to draw a parallel between nature and the way that it expresses and the beauty of our sacred geometry that's within all of those structures. Well, it's very simple. When you remove ego and you're not trying to create something new, but you're just trying to harness the rules of nature, I feel like, sky's the limit at that point. But when you're just trying to create something new, like, oh, I'm going to create a box that you can't find in nature, well, then it becomes as if we're fighting against the grain. Anyways, it's a long tangent. I don't know if it makes sense or not, but I just find that it's a trend that I've been seeing. Let me know down below what you guys think, and let's keep on rocking.
DM for info. Solar Punch Beat. DM for info. Solar Punch on the beat. Solar Punch.
And that's a wrap for today, familia. Whether you're tuning in with the sunrise or you're posted up after midnight, I appreciate your time, your energy, your curiosity. And don't forget, this isn't about truth or fiction. This is about perspective. If this sparked a laugh, a thought, a deeper question, then we did our job. Don't forget to like, subscribe, keep the convo alive, and don't forget to hit that bell if you're riding the wave, because we're just getting started. Until next time, stay weird, stay grounded, stay critical. I'm Adam Strain, and this has been Adam Strain Reacts. Peace! Now it's time for us to link up. Really think we on the brink up. Making a change from living this strange. Living this strange.